So we're here to introduce the first presenter, and he's referred to officially as former Congressman Kevin Brady, but to those of us in the trade world, he's Chairman Brady in the House. Yes. So Chairman Brady, come on up. He's here. There he is.
Thanks, you guys. Okay. First, thank you, Stacy and Vanessa, for that really extensive and kind introduction. Really, man, don't bust it out when you do that. So, how many hours did it take to do that? And thanks too for sharing with me the winning word for this year's trade bingo, zeroing. If you got it, it's zeroing on the car. So, for me, this is a joy to be invited tonight. I miss you guys terribly in the trade agenda, and it's just, there's something about when we come together, and here you are, trade leaders, policy leaders. Tonight we honor our trade heroes, and hosted by WITA, which is, I'd never thought about it, but the world's largest nonprofit, bipartisan membership organization dedicated to trade policy. The world's largest, and you're it. Yeah, it's really amazing. And we've all worked on a lot of trade policy issues, including free trade agreements. So I've always thought it's no accident that WITA was created a mere year before the launch of our very first free trade agreement with Israel. And throughout all those years, you've been a facilitator, an educator, a sounding board. You've played such a key role in the trade policy debates since America really began our modern expansion of economic freedom. So to Ken Levinson and your team, thank you for your leadership. To Steve Lamar, and the board, thank you for creating such an iconic and invaluable organization. So tonight, we honor trade champions like Senator Carper, who apparently is working for the Chamber of Commerce of Delaware. And on behalf of Texas, if I could get 20 minutes, that'd be very, very helpful. And honoring Angela Ellard. Angela, who I was blessed to work alongside for many years on the Ways and Means, both Trade Subcommittee and Committee itself. She is someone I so deeply respect, who has impacted trade policy for the better for America and for the country for decades, and I join all of us here in honoring Angela. I'm also thrilled we're remembering some of our most passionate trade champions as well. Our late and dear friend Jackie Walorski, who's missed terribly and always remembered with a smile, if you noticed. Yeah. On your behalf in 2019, I had the honor of presenting her WITA's Congressional Leadership Award, and as you look back, the timing could not have been better for that award. And also Jim Colby, who, as you know, was really a great assigner of tasks. I went to the House floor one time and came back as the new chairman of the Friends of New Zealand caucus. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Yeah. So it is a privilege now, though, to present the Congressional Leadership Award to a colleague, a friend, and someone who has led and helped shape America's trade policies literally from the very first day. He stepped on the Ways and Means Committee. Adrian Smith, this Gehring High School bulldog and Nebraska cornhusker, understands that it's not enough to buy American. We need to sell American throughout the world, to every corner of the globe, opening new markets, finding new customers for Americans. So for more than a decade, Adrian has worked across the aisle in Congress to urge U.S. administrations, Republican and Democrats, to lead on expanding America's economic freedom to trade, to work with us in Congress who hold the constitutional power of trade to negotiate strong trade agreements. Adrian played a key leadership role in securing the historic passage of a modernized U.S. trade agreement with with Mexico and Canada. He has long urged and continues to urge greater American leadership in Asia Pacific, in Europe, in South America with the UK, Taiwan, and with Japan, where he chairs the bipartisan U.S.-Japan caucus. And he's very clear by American leadership, he means comprehensive, high-standard, enforceable free trade agreements consulted and ratified by Congress. Adrian insists on full and vigorous enforcement of America's trade agreements, including on ag and energy, so important to his district. And he's constantly, what I appreciate so much, he's constantly looking to develop and build bipartisan support for trade initiatives and solutions with his colleagues, both on the committee and off. Today, as you know, Adrian is chairman of the Trade Subcommittee on Ways and Means, but I watched firsthand all those years before he held the gavel that he devoted to trade leadership, including educating new members of Congress and their staff on trade issues, inviting them, encouraging them to get engaged. So in my mind, his work continues to lay the foundation for bipartisan support for trade for many years in the future. And I think what I appreciate most about him is that Adrian Smith is a thoughtful leader. He learns the issues, the more complex, the better. He seeks input from others, he develops consensus around smart solutions, and he builds the support to put them into effect. That's why he is widely admired and so deeply respected by many, including me. And I'll tell you, as chairman and ranking member of Ways and Means, he was just an invaluable go-to member on trade and other key issues. But whenever I needed his leadership, whenever we needed his leadership, he delivered on time, better than hoped, with no drama, just real results. That's leadership and exactly what our country needs as we push forward America's engagement on trade. So I am, along with you, very proud to present the World International Trade Association's 2023 Congressional Leadership Award to my friend, Chairman Adrian Smith.
Well, good evening. Thank you. And Chairman Brady, always chairman in our minds, and certainly in the institution of the House and the Ways and Means Committee. Thank you for your leadership, your diligence, your very intentional efforts over the many years. Yes, we do miss you, but more than that, thank you for your friendship and tutoring along the way. I have to say that. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for being champions of freedom and opportunity. We stand here at a time where for trade, some question marks remain in many ways, but I'm glad that we can be here to work together toward more freedom and opportunity. I began serving in Congress in 2007, and that was during the Bush administration. And those 8 years of the Bush administration, I believe they started out already having 3 trade agreements in place, added 13 more over 8 years. That's some serious market access. And so I'm glad to have been a part of, yes, there you go. A little bit of that. But as I've been here, I've learned, and tonight with the soccer theme, I come from Nebraska. There are a few soccer balls, but if you know Josh in my office, he's trying to export soccer from his mind and enthusiasm into my district. There's not a lot of market access there just yet. But once we can get those cattle on board, where I proudly represent more cattle than people, in the 80 counties of the 3rd District, you might imagine that the trade is important, and we can joke and tease about a few things. But when we look at the challenges ahead of us, they are many. But I truly believe that we working together, and as you know, trade requires some work, some diligence, some intention. And when we look at really addressing the challenges with China, that comes about, we do better by being intentional about this and developing our supply chains, especially with other partners around the world, so that we can have a pro-growth, a pro-business environment. And, as we sort through, whether it's GSP, MTB, AGOA, others, it is just absolutely important that we get this right and that we can ultimately set the pace. Keeping the pace. The administration said the other day that they're looking to keep pace with other countries. I would like to raise that a bit and say, let's set the pace. Let's set the pace with trade and be very diligent in moving forward. My fear is that if we're not moving forward on trade, there's no such thing as marking time. We're actually losing ground. And so as we see other countries around the world develop their relationships, their partnerships, their agreements, we're losing out by not engaging along the way. So in the coming months, I do want to say that I plan to propose legislation so that we can empower U.S. workers and support job creators and get our country back in the business of trade. I know we have this uphill battle, but it's past time to deliver results. I'm glad to say that Nebraska is headquarters to a great company called Gallup. Jim Clifton, who heads up Gallup, he said government doesn't create jobs. Actually, employers don't even create jobs. Customers create jobs, and that's why I am here. As we seek customers for the businesses across our country, and that consumers ultimately, as customers, can win because we all do much better. Thank you very much. I'm honored and look forward to working with you. Thank you.